Welcome everyone to the League of Cinephiles. I'm your host Alex. I'm bringing you more simulated competition. Today we have a 2v2 faction championship match between the Watchers, who are the current champions. They've never lost a match, versus the 4 Angry Men, which includes myself, and the Hunt faction. Again, 2v2 elimination, so one competitor will be eliminated each round until we have a final team winner. The quick critic from the Hunt, Ernesto, who's also part of the Hunt, and then myself and Luke, who are representing the 4 Angry Men. There's only 2 of us, but I promise there are usually 4 Angry Men instead of 2. And then Unyolo and Guy, who are the undefeated Watchers. Unyolo is number 1 in the League of Cinephiles in terms of solo points. Let's get you over to the 2 guest judges who will decide who should get eliminated each round. So our first judge is going to be Luke Reviews. Luke, how are you doing today? Luke, you're not part of my team, so I can get rid of that name. Please, you can be unbiased here.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And now our second guest judge. You know him, you love him. It is going to be your favorite, Tyler. Bad news.
Hola, niño. I promised Alex, and I promise you guys, I will not be biased this time. I promise.
I went to an anger management class, so I'm a little more chill now. A lot more tea. You know, kind of ditch the comic book dreads. I'm taking this very seriously.
If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to get notified on all our latest simulated competition. Let's get started on our first prompt. Our first prompt is, this is a fun one. What is the best Zack Snyder film? So we chose for this one Man of Steel here. Man of Steel, pretty popular choice. It's a very realistic take on the Superman character. It's also a very emotionally investable one. The relationship between Kevin Costner's Pa Kent and Superman is it's a very real relationship, a very, father-son type relationship.
My biggest problem with Zack Snyder has always been, I feel like it's most people's problem, is that he's a very visually incredible director, but I've always wanted to see an amazing script partnered with his visuals. And when you have Christopher Nolan and David Goyer putting a more grounded version of Superman together, or story-wise, and then Snyder's visuals to it, I mean, he brought the Superman character to a whole new level.
So our pick is the Dawn of the Dead. It's one of his first movies that he made. It's one of the first movies that he had less control, especially on the script. Is like kind of remaking a masterpiece, and even like that, he is able to create one of the best zombie movies of the last 20 years. And when we talk about scripts, I don't think saying David Goyer doing a script is anything good, because he only does really bad scripts, and Man of Steel is probably one of his best. But still, there's a lot of things, especially constructing Superman, when he lets his dad die, that is completely out of character.
I must say that, Man of Steel, I think one of the biggest issues with it is that he gets the character Superman very wrong. Because while Superman is an alien, Superman's supposed to be the most human person of them all.
Yeah, so we picked Dawn of the Dead as well. And, really, the reason why is because it's the only Zack Snyder film which has a narrative that's just as good as the visuals. And part of that may be due to the fact that he didn't, necessarily do all the writing. But, it's a remake that doesn't feel like a rehash, has one of the best openings of a modern horror movie, really, arguably of all time. Great performances by all the actors. It has a unique ending where everyone dies, and you don't really see that too often in movies, horror movies in general. So that was a very ballsy move that they just had the movie end on this very sort of sour note where literally nobody survives.
Zack Snyder can use a little too many visuals, and giving Man of Steel as an example where he doesn't do that is not the best example. The last 45 minutes of Man of Steel is just a large fight scene, and it just blends in. At some point, it's just numbing. They're just throwing each other through buildings for 45 minutes straight. You don't know when the fight scene starts, and there's some dialogue, but it's just a 45-minute fight scene. So I don't think Man of Steel is the best example for that.
Comic book accuracy is not something that's I don't consider that extremely important when you're talking about a quality film.
The problem is not the comic books. The problem is the character. The character is supposed to be someone that will risk everything to save anyone, like a complete stranger, and he'll risk everything. And in that point, he's not risking to be discovered so to save his dad. That's the problem we have with that narrative, because then he risks a lot more during the movie for complete strangers than he does to save his dad in a situation that we're talking about, a hurricane, that everyone is confused and running, and he could have done it. We saw him doing it with the bus.
Zack Snyder writes Superman like you're supposed to write Batman's core character.
Actually, Christopher Nolan co-wrote the film, so it's not just Zack Snyder. And Christopher Nolan is a better. I mean, George C. Romero wrote Dawn of the Dead, and he wrote Night of the Living Dead a lot better.
What's Zack Snyder's best film? Like, when you think of Zack Snyder, most people don't even think of Dawn of the Dead. It is a great movie. Like, it's a super fun, like, zombie movie. But Zack Snyder is a visual, like, incredibly visual, like, crazy director. What he did with Superman, just the pure visuals of it, even just giving him, like, when he takes off and he has that, like, kind of little whatever sound kind of cloud thing behind him, just the details and the touches that he put into it. Like, it's a Zack Snyder film that is, like, when I think of him as a visual director plus a great story, Man of Steel, there could have been so much built off of that as well, and it just happened.
Well, the thing about it is, you're talking about visuals. He literally put like a bunch of penis rockets in the movie. So, I mean, I'm just saying
if you want to dumb it down, sure.
That is a visual in the film.
And like, if we want to talk about Dawn of the Dead, for some reason, it is the only movie that's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. All the other ones are not, because
75%. Let's just calm down here.
No, but it is the only one. But it is the only one that's certified fresh.
And it's a remake. It's a remake of two better films. It's a remake of two better films. That doesn't mean that.
And the thing is, if you go and watch, and if you go to like any site, you see that horror movies, to have a higher rating, it's harder than to have Superman that has like a fan base that straight away before watching the movie will give it more.
Yeah. Right, and I think Dawn of the Dead 2 is really probably his only complete film, because you think about it, like, we're talking about visuals. The visuals in Man of Steel are good, but I can make a strong case that the visuals in 300 or Watchmen are better. So if we're talking about best film by Zack Snyder, if we're talking about best film by Zack Snyder, we should consider all elements, as much as we do. We should consider them equally, and Dawn of the Dead is his only complete film.
There's so many scenes in that film, and there's so much other than the visuals that you didn't bring up. You didn't even mention Michael Shannon, who is probably the best DCEU villain. I mean, Mars is set very high, but he's better than I would say he's probably better than most Marvel villains as well. So there's a lot of good parts of the film that you didn't even bring up. It's not just you only brought up the fact that he lets Pa Kent die, which I thought was a very emotional scene, but I digress. But there's a lot more to the film than that. But let's end it there. Now, Tyler and Luke, who will you eliminate from the competition?
We were gonna go QC because he basically just spoiled Dawn of the Dead.
Oh man, 20-year-old film.
I was gonna watch it like tomorrow as well. I watched the old Dawn of the Dead today. I watched but then he did save himself with the.
Oh God, I'm crying now.
We feel that Ernesto could have been a bit more vocal, so we went with Ernesto.
Fair enough.
So, is this a surprise to you?
No, not at all.
You are
if
a super
I got the first round, I would have been extremely surprised.
All right, so Ernesto, thank you for coming on. Ernesto has been eliminated, so the hunt is down to just QC as its lone member. Let's go to the second prompt. What is the most overrated Leonardo DiCaprio performance? QC, let's go to you because you're just one person at the moment.
So I'm going The Departed. And the reason why I'm going with The Departed is I feel like, I'm from Boston. I grew up in that city, until I was, 26. So I know a lot about what's going on there. And I just felt like his accent was kind of wonky. I feel like some of the characterizations of, I know this isn't Leonardo DiCaprio, but even, Whitey Bulger's character, which is played by Jack Nicholson, like those interactions just didn't feel accurate to me. And, it's a great movie overall. But I feel like he's Leonardo specifically in that movie. He's talked about as having, as it being his number one performance, and I feel like I can name several others that I think are better, whether it be, What's Eating Gilbert Grape or The Beach or movies like that. So there you go.
Our pick was The Revenant because, first of all, it is the only movie that he finally won the Oscar, and like when we talk about overrated, there's always that point. It doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that's overrated. And the thing is, like, if we agree that Revenant is not overrated, it means that that is his best role, because he did finally got him the Oscar. People were praising him for all the weird stuff that he did, like eating the liver of the bull or whatever you call him, like all those stuff that it wasn't so much about the character in itself.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it just felt like when he got that Oscar, it felt like they felt bad because he I do feel that way. I think because, you know what, it's a decent performance, but it's not his best by any stretch of the imagination.
So you just didn't answer the question correctly at all, because when we're talking about an overrated performance, we're talking about the performance, not in comparison to some of his other Oscar nominations. Luke, do you want to talk about our pick?
Yeah, so we chose his performance in Blood Diamond, and he was nominated for an Academy Award for playing a South African, basically mercenary, because I had to go back and rewatch it, and I was just like, is this really, like, what is his most overrated performance? And when I go back and watch most of his films, I'm enthralled by him. Like, he's incredible. But when I watch Blood Diamond, I'm like, this did not age well. His performance in it, I'm like, and he's never bad. It's Leonardo DiCaprio, but it's goofy. And then when you see that he got nominated for an Academy Award for it, I'm like, okay, this just had to be our answer.
Okay, so to start off, I know, Alex, you do the questions, but I think you're completely wrong in saying we didn't answer the question, because when we're talking about overrating, we all said it's not that they're bad. So we need to compare it with other stuff. We can't like say, we're not going to compare. You just said, he has an 8 point something. He has this, he has that.
No. That's not
you compare it with other people are putting on other movies. But I'm sorry.
No. 8.0
Well, it's my turn. Calm down. Okay, and the other thing is, I don't know if you guys, like, I know you all young, but like when Blood Diamond came out, like, there was memes about it. Everyone was making fun about his accent. It wasn't ever a role that everyone went, the movie is good. So you kind of give him a little bit of like leaning. But it's like me coming and saying, the Man of the Iron Mask is Leonardo DiCaprio's most overrated performance. Because the thing is, no one talks about Blood Diamond.
So look at all his performances. What's the most overrated? If you're getting Oscar nominated, if people are talking about your work, Blood Diamond, I mean, Revenant, a great case could be argued. The fact that he did commit so hard, like, no one didn't buy him in The Revenant. Like, the fact he won it for it, you might think it's like kind of a culmination award, but he was incredible in that movie. I completely bought his character. The commitment he went to it is kind of also why he got it. When you watch Blood Diamond, though, the fact that he's never not been an award caliber actor, but that performance that he got it for is overrated.
We're looking at the actual performance, not the performance in comparison.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Nominations it has.
So I think the truest measure of whether something's overrated or not is if you go to an average person on the street and ask them to choose a Leo performance, and what are they going to say? And generally speaking, nobody's going to say Blood Diamond. Doesn't mean it's a bad movie. Doesn't mean his performance was bad, but it's not. Blood Diamond as a film.
Well, I wouldn't say anybody says The Departed. I wouldn't say anybody.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say anybody would say The Departed either.
As best movie.
One performance by Leo that's overrated. There's just so many other options that are stronger. Wolf of Wall Street comes to mind than Blood Diamond. So,
but I would say you picked the Departed. In The Departed, people talk about his performance in Blood Diamond a lot more than they talk about his performance in the Departed.
But overrated also means
disagree with that.
People talk about
overrated also means
so much love.
If you go to a normal person on the street and say, what are the best performances by Leonardo DiCaprio, I will bet you here whatever you want that
Django Unchained.
But those are overrated. Those are overrated. They're his best performances.
People will not talk about.
You're making the case that it's overrated, and I don't think.
But the question to be overrated. The question to be overrated is that people need to enjoy and talk about it and say that it is good. If no one is saying it's good.
Most overrated.
But no one's saying that.
Most overrated.
Blood Diamond is not his most overrated film.
Exactly.
You're saying that he shouldn't have gotten the Academy Award for The Revenant because his performance was overrated.
No, what we're saying is that all his performances, if we look at
in
it
the scope
as
of
a whole,
The
everything.
actual performance, but the actual performance, do you think is overrated? Not in comparison to other. Do you think his actual performance in The Revenant is overrated?
The
Please
question-
answer that. Yes
the
or no?
question-
Yes or no?
the-
Answer
no,
yes or
the
no.
movie-
No,
the
it is
question's
not
the
an-
movie, not the
it's not your
performance.
question.
Okay then.
That
So
is
you
not
said
your
it's
question.
Yes,
That's
it
not
is.
your.
It's the
most
movie,
No,
not the
overrated
Because
performance.
overrated means getting
Look,
praise for something
Look,
that you
yeah.
shouldn't have gotten
Okay,
praise
let me
for.
let me just say one thing. We all agree Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the best actors alive today.
Yes.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have one look, he doesn't have one role except The Man with the Iron Mask. He doesn't have one role that we'll say is bad. So when we are talking about you saying is the role of Revenant bad? No, but none of his roles are.
So you didn't answer the question. We answered why Blood Diamond, his role in that is at least worse
Are
than
you
other
saying?
ones. You didn't
Are you
actually-
saying?
you're-
Are you saying?
it's at least over. We answered the question and said that his
No,
performance.
you
Let me talk. His
You're
performance
saying what is the
overrated.
worst one?
No,
saying-
it's overrated. It's
You're
worse
saying it's
than the
no
other.
worse.
It's worse than a lot of his other ones, but it's overrated. It's overrated. You didn't say
overrated.
that. You're not used. Just
Hold
admitted
on.
that his performance in The Revenant isn't overrated, which is
Look,
exactly the question.
Look, if your question, if your question was, is the performance in The Revenant overrated? You might be right. The question is, what's the
Well, yeah.
most? What is the most overrated? So the most
Blood
overrated has to be one
Blood
that
Diamond.
every single person will
Universally,
at least think about it.
I'm pretty sure there's not a single list of DiCaprio's
Yes.
performances on the internet where Blood Diamond is number one.
The thing is, Blood Diamond is completely forgotten now. So you can't call him overrated now. If you go back in time, in your time
But you're
machine,
also talking
and
about
answer
the
this
but
question-
the Revenant could be. We don't know how the Revenant's going to age in 20 years from now, too. Like
The
most
Revenant-
people could just forget about that. We
The
have no
Revenant-
idea how that'll play
But
out.
the Revenant, we still today, because again, I'm not responding this question in the future. I'm responding it today, and still today, the Revenant is on the top of all the lists of best performances. Okay,
All right,
it
yeah,
there.
we get it.
That's that long conversation. Luke, I'm actually really curious. Luke,
Yeah, I
what
was
do you
watching-
like?
Tyler, you want to go
I was
get
just
some
watching-
food or
I
something?
gotta say, you guys were fun to
Yeah,
watch.
that
You guys
took
were
a long
fun.
time, but
Oh my God, Alex and Unyolo, you guys were fun to watch. That
Yeah,
was
that
like
was-
actually enjoyable.
I didn't even.
I was like,
was that?
I
Alex's
was
heart
like,
was gonna
where
jump out
is
of
the
his chest.
popcorn? I was
Really?
like, where is the
I didn't
popcorn?
even notice.
we were back and forth between a lot of you guys.
Oh, wow.
But for this one, we decided to go with Guy for this one.
Oh.
But let's just say that you and Unyolo made a very solid argument, but for the most part, you just seem to be echoing off of what Unyolo.
Yeah. I had so much fun watching Alex and Unyolo bicker at each other. That's movie magic, folks. That was really entertaining.
Who is the best actor or actress in the industry working today without an Oscar?
I pick Amy Adams. I think she's like an amazing actress. She's been nominated 5 times. She has like a role in Tyler, I'm saying Dolph. I don't know, like my accent, Dolph, like the one with the nun.
I know you're saying that. I know you're saying that.
Just joking. But it's like one of the best performances that she ever gave. She's like in The Fighter, in The Master, American Hustle, Arrival. There's so many roles. And the thing is, like, and that's the serious roles. But if you look at it, Enchanted, that I'm a big fan because I have kids. She knows how to sing. She knows how to dance. She knows how to do comedy. She does drama. She does everything so good.
So I went with Michael Fassbender, and the reason why I chose Fassbender, I feel like
shit.
he's the kind of guy where you think about Fassbender, you just think quality. He elevates everything that he's in. He never phones in a performance. He's the best thing about some very average films. Think about those X-Men movies, which were okay, but really, anytime he's on screen, he's the most thrilling, enthralling thing about the movies. He's also the best thing about Prometheus and with Alien Covenant. And in Alien Covenant, he had double duty playing both Andrew and Walter in a way that, or David and Walter, excuse me. And I just think, when you see Fassbender on the poster, it's a quality movie. The guy just doesn't do bad films. He doesn't do a bad job in any role that he's ever been in that I'm aware of. So
Yeah, let me just great picks from both of you. I love Amy Adams and Michael Fassbender. So, but we decided to go with Jake Gyllenhaal for this one. 1 Oscar nomination, 2 BAFTAs, 2 Golden Globes, 3 SAGs, and 1 Tony. And then that's not even including these 4 movies. Nightcrawler, which was one of the best movies of the decade, and it's like a film buff's dream. Everybody loves Nightcrawler. Everybody loves him in that film. Donnie Darko, you look at Zodiac, and he's amazing in that film as well. And then, of course, when he played Detective Loki in Prisoners. So this guy is getting nominated for films like Brokeback Mountain, which I didn't even mention, and he's not even like there's an entire other realm of films that he's in that he doesn't get nominated for.
And he's just got a ton of range. I mean, he does everything from like Oakjaw, where he's like super goofy and like that, like kind of mad scientist, to he's just, I mean, he's an interesting actor as well. Like he is a pretty boy, but he's like not that at the same time. He can do romantic comedies, he can do action, he can do goofy, he can do serious. I'm like, the guy's range is incredible.
There's movies that I've gone to see and really been most excited because Fassbender's in it, and he's really the main reason why I'm going to watch it. I don't know that I've really gone to a movie specifically for Jake Gyllenhaal. There might be a movie that's great that he's in, but I'm not sure that I see his name on the poster and I think, I really feel like I got to go out of my way to watch this.
I think it's a lot harder for an actress to stay relevant as long as Amy Adams has been. She's 46 now, and this is the age that like you want the pretty girl, you want like the sexy girl, and I think she's shown because she started working so young. She was in The Office, she was in like the 70s show. We probably don't even remember. She's been like around for so long, and she was able to kind of grab Hollywood by the neck and kind of like deserve a chance because of her performances.
With Amy Adams, there's just one thing. And again, it's hard to talk against any Michael Fassbender or Amy Adams. But the one thing I will say about Amy Adams is that, so she's been nominated for 6 Oscars. 5 of them have been in supporting roles. She's been nominated for only 1 lead Oscar. So she is a very supporting actress.
Yeah,
she's not the reason. One of the reasons why she hasn't won an Oscar is because she's not put in any of these lead roles. Like, she really controls the film. And again, she's great in these movies, but they're not lead roles. Yeah. When you look at Jake Gyllenhaal, when you look at his, I mean, technically he was supporting in Brokeback Mountain, but I mean, we can all agree that he was basically a lead in that film. He was so good in that film, and people still talk about Brokeback Mountain. What performance of Amy Adams do people still talk about today?
She's in supporting roles, and she completely steals the movie. This
like
is
in
the
what
thing.
film? What film?
I don't know. That's the thing is her
Like,
charisma, I think, is why she doesn't win it.
What can you name me a film that's the case?
For example, you cannot watch The Fighter. You cannot watch The Fighter. No, you cannot watch The Fighter without that role. That it is the role that sticks everything together. And you just said Jake Gyllenhaal, one of the best performances in Brokeback Mountain, when he was a supporting actor. Being a supporting actor,
but we know he's basically a lead. He is basically a lead in that film.
And I would tell you that a lot of the roles that she plays, like in Dolph and everything, she kind of steals that thing.
I would say that Amy Adams, her performance in both Man of Steel and Justice League as Lois Lane is pretty weak, I think, pretty nondescript. She has a lot to work with, granted.
Yeah, exactly. She's not even there.
There's very few films with Fassbender, or even I would say with Gyllenhaal, where you see them on screen and you're like, I could take it or leave it. They didn't really do anything memorable.
Exactly.
Amy Adams definitely has those performances.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to agree with Quick Critic here. Every time you couldn't name really an Amy Adams performance that's very memorable. When you look at Michael Fassbender, his role in 12 Years a Slave, his role in Shame, people remember those performances. People remember Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler. What I'm saying about Amy Adams is that, like QC said, she can be very forgettable in certain roles. You don't see that with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Fassbender.
And if you're a casting director and you're looking to start or production team, and you're looking to start casting for your movie, and you have to choose from all the actresses that exist out there, I don't know. I don't feel like Amy Adams necessarily is going to be at the top of the list.
So that's going to end it there. All right. So Tyler and Luke.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go with QC, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Damn. Critic, your team has been eliminated. Any last words?
Hey, it's a hard-fought battle. Appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys, always.
To be honest, I wanted you to stay in the competition so we could face you instead of Unyolo in this final round. We're so close to the championship. We're so close.
Yeah, man, this is crazy.
We almost have it. We're almost there. 2v1. 2v1. Come on.
Three against one. I'm joking. Look, I'm joking. The judges are being really fair. Come on. Okay, so for me, this question is easy. It's Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible is the only action franchise that is getting better with time. Every new movie, like it started out with 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the last three movies has been 93, 94, and 97. It's pretty impressive on its own that it keeps getting better and better. It's the only movie that gets on the news just because of the actions. You hear about the stunts that they are creating even before the movie comes out. It's completely based on the action. He completely stole when he started. There were things like James Bond and stuff, and he completely stole the focus from those franchises.
I think we're going to go with Indiana Jones on this one. So we're going to go with Indiana Jones, classic action adventure series. When you look at Mission Impossible, sure, I know what you're going to do, point out Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You're going to point that out, and let me just clear the air here and make that argument irrelevant, because that movie is terrible. We all know it, but that doesn't ruin the franchise. When you look at Mission Impossible, granted, great pick. However, when you look at the first two movies in that franchise, they're so bad. The first one has one good scene, but when you look at the majority of the movie, especially the ending, it's pretty bad. Second one sucked. Third one's okay. And then the last two are pretty great. But when you look at Indiana Jones,
there's six. So you're missing one out.
Wait, no, I didn't. I didn't talk about all of that. I didn't want to talk about it because I said the last two were great. What's the fourth one? I don't even remember the fourth Mission Impossible.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, Ghost Protocol. Okay, that was good. But
that was so good.
Classic.
I mean, really, the shittiest one. If we're gonna talk about like the shittiest movie in the franchise, it's clearly Mission Impossible 2, John Woo. But yeah. I mean, we can attack each weakest point. But anyways, continue on, Alex, with Indiana Jones.
No, I was just gonna say, when you look at Indiana Jones, I mean, the thing with Indiana Jones is that when you look at every part of the franchise, every part of it is iconic. Of course, we're so oversaturated within the Indiana Jones franchise because it's become such a staple within pop culture that we forget about all the good actual filmmaking aspects of it. When you look at the actual filmmaking of the Indiana Jones franchise, it is so good. When you look at the production design, when you look at the costumes, when you look at, of course, John Williams' infamous score, when you look at the stunts in Indiana Jones are just, I know they're great Mission Impossible, but with Indiana Jones, there's a new level of realism within them. Because Indiana Jones is not really this perfect character. He gets his ass kicked multiple times. He's a guy who will take, he'll take the cheap shot if he has to, like that moment where he shoots the guy with the sword.
It's everything. Like, it's my child. It's nostalgia. And the fact they're making a new one now. James Mangold is going to be directing it. I'm like, I'm excited. I genuinely am excited to see this continue on, because the way they left off with Crystal Skull was, I mean, it almost doesn't even seem like it should be a part of that at all. Like, the fact it got into aliens and sci-fi, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? But the first three movies are just iconic.
I'm really confused, because I think you guys just made all the points I wanted to make. So first of all, you say Crystal Skull is irrelevant because how bad it is, and then you go and talk about Brian De Palma first movie. Those aren't relevant. Are they irrelevant?
No,
but the thing. Wait. Let me just say, you go and talk about my first two movies that happened years ago, and forget that the last three movies were amazing.
What's more iconic?
And you're talking about like the Crystal Skull. That was horrible, and we're gonna get Harrison Ford again. Like he's gonna be the mummy on this archaeology movie that they're gonna make.
It hasn't happened yet. It hasn't. We're talking about this argument before that movie.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. Most of your points were, they're doing another one, and I'm excited. Yeah, but it's not even out. This is how.
Well, we don't even need to talk about the first three.
This is how people felt.
Iconic.
Yeah. This is how people felt.
Do you really want us to explore?
We're not talking about iconic. We're not
Unyolo, about this match will be very.
No, it won't, Alex, because the thing is, the question again, and this is what worries me, you make the questions and you don't know how to answer them. It's not the most iconic action movie ever. It is the best action movie franchise. You can't go and say, Star Wars is the best. Star Wars is the best.
4 movies is a franchise. 4 movies is a franchise.
Yeah, exactly. So you can take away the Crystal Skull.
No, we do. We're not saying that it's not. No, we're not saying it's not part of it. We're also saying we're not focusing on that in our argument.
In the end of the day, we even said this the other day. Like we're talking about action. You just said, like, what are the great action sequences
the truck
that you
scene,
told me? Are you talking about? Are you talking about when they have the monkeys? When they have the monkeys on the thing? Like, what's
oh my god, you're only focusing on one movie.
I'm not. I'm saying what?
Tell me. You just asked me what. Okay, so I'm gonna respond. Is that okay? I'm gonna respond. Okay. Okay. You have the amazing truck sequence in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was it's an awesome sequence, all practical effects, very well shot. It's an amazing sequence. And then you have the bike chase in the third film in Last Crusade, which is awesome as well. You have the bridge scene in Temple of Doom. I could go. Do you want me to go? I can go on. There's so many scenes.
And now, are you gonna say it with a straight face? Like, you're gonna keep a straight face and say that he even reaches the level of what they do in Mission Impossible?
But I will. No. But I'm also saying that
action
is better as all around films. They are better. We're not talking about just the action. We're talking about the events surrounding the films. We're talking about the story. When you look at the Mission Impossible,
relevance,
the story of Mission Impossible is very similar in all of the films.
Yeah,
we're talking about the best action movie franchise.
No. But yes, the action. It's also.
Will you hold on? Would you say that Ethan Hunt is more iconic than Indiana Jones? Like, just in the cultural atmosphere. Like, do you think
today?
Oh, come on!
No, I think more people are. I think more people are excited about Indiana Jones.
No way, man!
Don't get me wrong.
Majority of people that I talk to, they don't watch movies that are over 10 years. I say someone to watch a movie.
Everybody's seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That is what you assume. That is what you assume. Look,
I think he's right. I don't think young people are watching a lot of old stuff.
No young person goes and say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to watch tonight that movie of Indiana Jones." No, they'll probably watch.
But they might watch Indiana Jones.
They'll probably watch.
Okay, guess what? On IMDb, right? 892,000 have seen Indiana Jones. You know how many have seen Mission Impossible Fallout? 296,000. That's a 600,000.
Are you gonna compare? Are you gonna compare it? Look,
you just said nobody has seen Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Look,
I'm just countering your point.
Look, I'm not saying that no one saw. What I'm saying is, are you gonna go on a website that's for cinephiles?
Oh my! It's IMDb.
Yes, look,
it's not.
Okay. Let's put it this way.
On IMDb,
are you more excited for the new Indiana Jones to come out, or for the new Mission Impossible?
Honestly, Mission Impossible 100%, because
honestly,
I don't want.
You don't want to see it redeemed. You don't want to see.
The point is, I don't believe I'm going to see it redeemed, because the thing is, we are making an action movie, okay? And the guy that's in front, this is like watching Taken, that we have Liam Neeson that's too old to do anything. And we have to believe, are you going to believe when Harrison Ford jumps from a truck to somewhere, are you going to believe that he didn't broke a hip?
With the Mission Impossible franchise, how many times are you able to see the same thing? You know, Ethan gets betrayed by what is it, MI6, whatever it is. And he gets betrayed. There's some Russian hacker involved.
I would agree with you.
It's the same thing every time. You're just talking about the stunt.
I would agree with you 3 movies ago. The last 3 movies are some of the best action movies ever made, and they connected everything.
No,
and they, look,
I would say, Ghost Protocol is pretty weak. Ghost Protocol and
they are no.
I love that movie.
I do.
Look, in the end of the day, the last Mission Impossible, they completely changed the game. Everyone is look. They had to like kind of remake how James Bond was because of Mission Impossible. Indiana Jones was really, really fun. And I would argue that the second movie is not amazing like the first and the third.
It's better than most Mission Impossible movies, though. It's better than at least 3 of them. It's at least better than, I'd say the 4th, but I know we
like you can say it's better than 3 of them. I still have 3 better movies.
That's half. Oh yeah, but take those 3 movies. Are there anything compared to Last Crusade? None of them touch.
But there you go again,
Alex. None of them hold a candle to Last Crusade or Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Look, I don't know if you have this saying in America, but and this is a little bit like if my granddad had no balls, he would be my grandmother. I don't know if you guys say that. I don't know if you guys say that. But the thing is,
I know that saying. I know it.
Yeah, you know that saying.
I know that saying.
You know, so the thing is, you can go and pick what you want. Oh, imagine there was no other 3 movies.
I am not doing that.
You are doing that.
You are kicking me. No, I'm saying is there are certain movies in the Indiana
You
Jones.
started your argument by saying, "Look, let's forget Crystal Skull exists."
No. I'm saying we admit it's bad. We're not saying that it doesn't. We're just saying it's
That's
bad.
your last
We know
one.
that. But also
But
saying
it's
it doesn't ruin the franchise.
Exactly. It's like saying that you're categorizing it by its worst movie in the franchise. Like
No,
saying that.
I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm
Yes,
not.
you are. Yes,
But
you
that's
are.
what we were saying initially.
What you guys
Because
sound
it's so
like,
easy to go after that movie.
What you guys sound like is those retirement people that are gonna go
Oh,
and
come
talk
on.
about the
Come
golden. No, they're gonna go and
Come
talk
on,
about the
man.
golden age. 20 years ago,
It's
you know.
1981.
The thing-
It's 1981.
Oh, so it's even worse than 20 years ago. It's 40 years ago.
So
we did a great movie.
Oh, come on.
Dude.
Let me ask you something. Where's Raiders of the Lost Ark in your top 100?
I would say they
because
all
I guarantee
still
it's
hold
there.
up,
Where is it? Where is it?
But
I
that's the
guarantee
thing.
Raiders of the Lost
But
Ark
that's
is
the
there.
thing. We're talking
Dude,
about
you can release-
franchise.
If you release
Franchise.
Raiders of the Lost Ark
Okay, Last
today,
Crusade is
it would
probably
still
there, too.
hold up. People
Yeah,
would
it
fucking
still
love
holds
that
up. It's
movie
still- okay.
for sure. There's no way any of those three are bad.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, let's end this one.
We're gonna go with Lucky Boy.
Oh, this was all right.
He said he.
Lucky.
Remember, he said he wants to see the Indiana Jones franchise expand. Like, well, you want to see Harrison Ford going in a wheelchair?
No, that's the thing.
One-on-one. You
Come on,
survived
Alex.
long enough on YOLO. You've
Come on.
survived. I've been waiting for this. This is the second straight time I've made it to the finals of my faction matchups. Oh yeah, remember this guy? Yeah. Hey clown, remember when you got eliminated? I'm about to take out your teammate. I'm about to take out your teammate.
You call me
I'm
clown?
about to take
The
him
hat's
out.
on. The hat's on. Fuck
Oh my
everything.
God.
You know what? The hat's on. All right.
You're right.
You're
You're gonna talk. You're gonna talk about my teammates like that. You're gonna talk about my teammates like that. I see you.
Let's get started on the last prompt. Another overrated question. What is the most overrated Pixar film?
Oh boy.
All right, that's gonna end it there.
You guys are impossible to choose between.
In a good way?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if you want to think that way, go sure. But like, I mean,
not for us. Not for us. It's
Yeah,
not
with you guys, not good for me and Luke.
Do you want to
Yeah, we
go
have-
in overtime?
Can you?
That's what we did. That's what we did for my last matchup.
I genuinely
can't
think
win
we.
a matchup.
Genuinely think we have to, because
Who is the best director working today?
All right, 10 minutes.
Oh,
Go.
10 minutes? Oh gosh. Okay,
Who's,
so
who's the first
can
one
go.
now?
you can go because I went for the last
Okay.
one.
Clock is ticking.
Okay, so for me, my pick is Denis Villeneuve. Okay, and the reason why is like if you go and look at his movies, first of all, his lowest rating movie has 71%. Okay, and that's his lowest rating movie. But the thing that's most amazing is like it's kind of like a Kubrick when we talk about Denis Villeneuve. He does action, thrillers, sci-fis, dramas. He does everything, and he does everything well. If you look at movies like Prisoners, it is such a confined movie that you just can't take your eyes out of it. And then he goes and he takes like an impossible job that is remaking Blade Runner. And he makes it something so grand, so impossible to take your eyes away. When we talk about the most anticipated movies of this year, you have things like Black Widow, you have so many movies, but on top of almost everyone's list is Dune. Dune is the most anticipated movie. Dune is the most anticipated movie, and the reason why is because of him.
People would still have Dune on the top of their list if my director was directing, or if a lot of great directors were directing. It's not because of Denis. When you look at the cast, when you look at Timothée Chalamet, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, Josh, yes, it's because of the cast more than it's because of Denis Villeneuve.
The cast is there because of him. The cast would not join Dune if he wasn't Denis Villeneuve.
If you want to talk about cast, then
talk about yours. Talk about your movie.
My director is even more diverse. It's Paul Thomas Anderson. He also has more to say in his films. He has more to say, and he portrays these certain themes much better than Denis Villeneuve. I mean, granted, he doesn't even try. Really, his films don't say that all that much. And then number two, and when I talk about that, I'm talking about, of course, when you look at Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights literally talked about demoralization in the porn industry, a topic that nobody talks about, a topic that he explored so well within all these different stories in the film. He talked about that, and he goes from that, really. He talks about that, and then he goes to a film like There Will Be Blood, which talks about capitalism in the first scene of the film, and then he explores it even more in the rest of the film. And you can take the first scene of There Will Be Blood, which is masterful. And that film alone says so much about capitalism without even saying one word, without saying one word. How many people have been nominated an acting Oscar in a Denis Villeneuve film? Nobody. You know why? because their performances aren't that amazing. They're good. They're really good. Don't get me wrong. He's a great director, but they're not that amazing. When you look at every performance in a Paul Thomas Anderson film, they're some of the best performances we've ever seen. Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood, he directed him. When you look at every performance in Boogie Nights, including Burt freaking Reynolds, that was his only Oscar nominations of his entire career. When you look at, I'm still going. Those are just 2 films there, buddy. I just talked about 2 of his films. When you look at The Master, you look at it's about a film about a freaking cult. You got Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman acting their asses off, and you have Paul Thomas Anderson, who's he's the one who directs them to these performances, right? Phantom Thread, which talks about the fashion industry. Punch Drunk Love, which is a new take on the rom-com.
So first of all, like we're saying, working today, and like his last movie was in 2007, and he's probably his weakest. 17, and he's probably his weakest movies. You talk about the strongest movies he has. Like There Will Be Blood, that is from 2007, Boogie Nights, that's 1997, and even The Master, that's 2012, okay? When you went into the Phantom Thread, the only thing you said was, and it was about the fashion industry, because you know it is the weakest one. And the thing is, we're talking about, like, best director working today. And the best director, the thing is, a lot of the movies of Paul Thomas Anderson, like you said, are a lot of the quality comes from the writing in itself, okay? Because he doesn't have he doesn't have in majority of his things something that you would say, oh, it's so like groundbreaking the way he does it, or they all look very similar in terms of like the storytelling and stuff. And when you have Denis Villeneuve, is completely different from one to the other. You look at Sicario, you look at Arrival, you look at Blade Runner, Prisoners. Like, you look at those movies and think, shit. And this is what Kubrick had. He was really good at doing things in other genders, and he was always good. And the thing is, Paul Thomas Anderson does the same thing over and over.
Oh
He does it really well.
That is the worst thing you've ever said.
He does it
Cinephiles. That is the single worst thing you've ever said. He doesn't just depend on the performances, Paul Thomas Anderson. He depends a lot on his visuals. And guess what? He doesn't have Roger Deakins helping. He doesn't have Roger Deakins helping him out. Denis Villeneuve has Roger Deakins by his side in almost every one of his movies. He has him on his side. He has Roger Deakins, who is the best cinematographer working today. Also, you brought up, he hasn't made a movie in 4 years. Okay, if I'm going to use that point, David Fincher, his last movie before Mank was Gone Girl in 2014. That's a 6-year difference. Yeah, he's still working today. That point is irrelevant. That's a terrible point.
I didn't pick. That's why I didn't pick David Fincher.
He's making a movie next year.
What I'm saying is not that he made the movie in 2017. What I'm saying is that his worst movie that even you keep on not talking about it.
It's not who everybody loves.
Wait, let me talk. Like you don't even talk about it. Like the whole argument, you don't talk about it
because I haven't seen it. Because I haven't seen it.
Yes,
because I haven't seen it.
So that's the thing. Look, you just proved my point. You just proved my point.
Gentlemen,
you just said it's the best director. No, let me just finish. I was in the middle of an argument.
Tyler said
Unyolo, Alex, your time is up. Luke and I have decided on the winner. It was a unanimous decision. And your winner and remaining faction champion, Watchers! Unyolo, you and Guy have defended your guys' title. What are your first thoughts right now?
The best thing about winning this was hearing the sound of Alex just now going. That was the best thing ever.
All right, Mr. Knoll.
Oh my God! Let me just say something. All right, I'm back. I'm back. Okay. I'm sick of this man. All right. You're calling me a clown. You want to hear me? Do you want to hear me? I'm mad. I'm gonna be back, and when I'm back, I'm gonna put him through the ringer. Don't you worry about that, my friend.
Honestly, I can't believe it. I'm shocked right now. My argument was so much better than his, and also this is a second straight time I lost in an overtime. Second straight time I've been the last one standing in the final round and lost in an overtime.
You should have forced him to call it after the Pixar whatever one, because I feel like that was your strongest argument.
I can't believe this. I cannot believe this blasphemy. He literally said that he said that Paul Thomas Anderson wasn't the best director today because he made a movie in 2017. Ooh, are you kidding? That's 4 years ago. Come on! Sorry, my inner Sean is coming out. I am so furious. So furious. I deserve this win. I'm sweating. I worked my ass off here. Luke worked his ass off. We had a 2v1 for 3 straight rounds. We deserve this win. And I can't believe this.
Goddamn Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford's old ass.
I want a rematch. I am pissed, especially because I lost my last faction match in the same manner. Yeah, the Watchers have won this match. They're still undefeated, 5-0. They've never lost a match. And I'll get him. I'll get him.
You'll persevere one day, just like me, Alex.
Thank you for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, hit that bell icon to get notified on all our related competition. I'm sorry, I can't take this seriously right now. I'm pretty pissed. Ciao.